Hello. Here we are finally for our inaugural Inside Out session. I'm Meredith Wellard.
And I'm Stella Jory, and the two of us have been on a journey since 2007 together, and something before that we brought together. So maybe you want to explain why we call it Inside Out and what we hope to achieve with this.
So as we have worked together for such a long time, and as Stella said, even before that, we worked in various different organisations, corporate setups and country offices and many, many countries around the world, different structures and
different sectors
and so many different contexts. And we talk a lot, we share a lot about, our experiences at work. And one of the things we've discovered is over the years, the same topics, the same challenges come up over and over and over again. And we find ourselves telling similar stories, but in different parts of the world or different leaders and so forth. And then we share a lot what we do to deal with those. And we had an idea that it might be nice to share with you all what, from the inside out, how you can be the best that you can be regardless. So not from a theoretical perspective, but really from what we've learned and from our experience, how to deal with things.
So it's inside us, and we know that when we are talking, well, we hope that you will say, hey, I know that inside, but now that you frame it in this conversation, it resonates with me. I can identify with that. So you will also have something that you have on the inside, and you'll bring it outside with more clarity. So brilliant. So we just love our tagline, Inside Out.
Inside Out conversations, right?
Exactly. So it's a conversation. And just to mention, it's triggered by something. So there will be themes, and I want to set the trigger for today because I was in the doctor's rooms and there was a magazine, Harvard Review, and I'm not sure if you know, but every now and again the Harvard magazines, they do a big special edition in depth on a theme, and this one was a very thick one. It was the Winter 2023 Harvard edition, and it was dealing completely and comprehensively with the theme of trust. And trust is such an important thing, whether it's in your personal lives, your romantic lives, for those people who have children with children, friends, but in the workplace, trust is really a key topic. So do you want to talk about trust today?
Yeah, trust is a good one. And I think trust is particularly interesting because I know a lot of organisations are trying to instill this trust either at a sort of global level where they say, we want a value of trust with our customers, with our people.
That's a big thing.
Yeah. Or at a team level where you hear managers saying, I want to trust my people. I want my people to trust me. And, over the years that I've been working, I think trust has come up more frequently than any other topic, if I'm honest.
And I mean, when you interact with people and what they say about trust, people to explain trust in a very different way. So for some people, trust means loyalty. And for other people, trust means you do the job, I can rely on you, right? And then trust for some people is my inner circle, I only trust a few people. But I mean, generally, we're all working at work and we want to have some credibility and we want to be trusted. So I guess we're coming from that point of view today. How do you create yourself and brand yourself in a way that people see you as credible and that they trust you?
Yeah, exactly. Because, and that's the thing, isn't it? You can't instruct trust, right? You can't walk into the room and go, you all have to trust me on this.
That is
In fact, I hear people saying that sometimes. It is the most ridiculous thing to say. Stella, you just have to trust me. I know what I'm talking about. But, and I do remember a leader actually that we once worked with who was adamant that trust had to be earned,
That's correct. And is it something that is earned, or is it something that you cultivate? It happens. What do you think?
I think you have to cultivate it. I think earning it makes it sound like it's some sort of transaction, right? That you give me a bit, I give you a bit, and then we have like a a trust transaction. I'll keep a balance sheet on trust, you know.
Yeah, that's true. But how do you know when someone trusts you in the work environment?
Yeah. That's a hard
What does
one.
that actually mean, and how do you feel? What does it mean for you?
I don't know. For me, what I feel when someone trusts me is there's a level of openness. There's a level of... Actually, it manifests a bit like speed. So...
What is that?
What does that mean? Yeah. It's like in the moment when you have a conversation, when there's no trust, I feel like that conversation sometimes goes on and on and on, and there's various aspects to it and questioning.
You get each other.
Yeah, you get each other. So you have this moment of like, so what do you think? Yeah, that is a good idea.
Okay,
you know,
but
this
then
sort
you
of
have a good relationship.
I think there's something interesting also, because it's not about friendship, right? It's about knowing the person, knowing so something about consistency.
Yeah.
I remember another leader that I worked with who, he was quite tough. Like, he wasn't your normal person that you would say, oh, what an amazing developing leader or something. You know, he was...
What made him tough?
He was very almost aggressive in the way he spoke, almost dismissive in the way and loud voice and finger pointing and this sort of stuff.
And he had trust?
He had a lot of trust, and that was the interesting thing, because his team trusted him and really spoke about him in a way which was very trustful and even respectful. And I'm pretty convinced that part of the reason for that is, although he was tough and although he was absolutely consistent.
That's it. And you know, I totally agree. In fact, in this Harvard review, there was reference to a man called Morton Deutsch. And he was a psychoanalyst, but he was big on conflict management. But exactly what you're saying, he called it something different. What fosters trust is predictability.
Yeah, right.
If you're consistent, you are predictable, and therefore you can be trusted because you consistently deliver. It's the same as if you go to a restaurant. 8 times you have a great meal, and the 9th time it's not a great meal. That may erode the trust. The predictability is an important thing. I think you're right. So consistency is definitely a factor for trust.
Yeah, for sure.
Super interesting. So I also think, I asked you how you feel when someone trusts you. And I guess for me it's a little bit about, you feel a sense of confidence.
You do.
When somebody trusts you, you can be open, you can be yourself. But confidence is an important thing in order to build trust with other people. And that comes also a little bit with being an expert in your field, because if you're going to be confident, you need to know what you're talking about confidently. So expertise, I mean, how do we describe that expertise?
So I think that expertise is about knowing. I mean, I was even talking to one of my colleagues today, and they were saying how they had to do a presentation standing up in front of a large crowd of people, and they hadn't done that before. And she was saying, you know, the moment I stood up there and told myself, lift your head out and look out there, she said, I suddenly looked out and realised I knew exactly what I was talking about.
That's brilliant.
What she was saying, and she used the word trust, is afterwards she couldn't believe how many people were coming to her and asking her quite detailed questions on the topic. And she said, I just felt like they trusted me. And I thought, yeah, there's something about knowing your space, knowing what you're about. However, on the flip side, not faking it.
Oh, yes, authenticity.
Authenticity.
Yeah, why do you think that's important?
Yeah.
To be yourself at all times.
Yeah. Because if you're not authentic, it's almost impossible to be trusted. And people can read.
Well, they feel it, don't they?
Yeah.
If you get a sense.
We should do a session on authenticity.
Definitely. I can't quite put my finger on it. And that also brings in a whole nother topic about, can you bring yourself to work, your own self? So we should do one.
We should do one on that, yeah.
So far we've got confidence, we've got consistency, we've got expertise linked to being yourself, and I guess that's also to do with the confidence thing. You need to be yourself when you're confident as well. Is there anything else that you can think, people you know that are very trustful, what types of things do they display?
Well, is there anyone you trust implicitly? Like, is there anyone that you say, I trust them with everything? You trust me with everything?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. But
Yeah.
would you trust me with your husband?
Yes. But now that you mentioned my husband, that actually triggered something, because I trust my husband with everything. And, you know, as a family man, as a person of integrity, as a truthful, honest person, doing the right thing. But I don't trust my husband to do the grocery shopping. Not a chance. He's going to buy 25 margarine tubs on the special.
And he is, because I've seen those in your fridge.
So I guess, yeah, that's a whole nother discussion.
Yeah.
It's on your topic, you need to be trusted, right?
Yeah.
At work, in the professional.
Yeah, it is, that's right. But if I think about at work, I think, you know, trust is one of those things where I pride myself for trusting first. So I think that if you go in with a mindset of suspicion or questioning or mistrust, that it starts things off on the wrong foot.
Yes,
right?
because you are having the premise of that people are not trustworthy.
Yeah. If you go in with a perception that I will probably be able to trust this person, this will probably have a good outcome. We work for the same company, we have the same goals, we have the same objectives in mind, then you are more likely to reach a point where there'll be a common trust.
Yeah,
Yeah?
I agree.
Not always, and there will definitely be times at work, and I know there are people at work I don't trust.
Yeah.
For sure. And why don't I trust them is often a case of I feel that the impression they give me, the feeling they give me, is that they are interested in their own success and not our success.
Okay. Yeah.
Or the company's success. So that's a big one for me, you know.
Yeah. So a level of unselfishness.
Yeah.
Not only about me.
Yeah, because I think everyone can be successful if everyone trusts, right? I don't think it has to be you got successful, I didn't. I think we can all be successful.
And it's that sense of you're not going to throw me under the bus.
Yeah.
Or you are going to throw me under the bus to make yourself look good.
Yeah.
That's definitely not a platform for trust.
No, exactly.
I'm afraid in human beings and society that can arouse quite a bit.
And it does circle back to the point you made earlier about authenticity, right?
Yeah, so, definitely. Well, that's really interesting. So I think I've got one more question for you, though.
Yeah.
What about the loss of trust? Like you did trust. Things went well for a while, and then what happens to breach the feeling of trust?
Yeah.
I think that happens.
Failure to deliver.
Yeah, which links back to reliability
And consistency.
Yeah. Not doing what you said you would do.
Right, exactly.
So that's the integrity part.
A breakdown of the relationship itself, so that, you know, when I think, you know, whilst I truly believe in a modern workplace, you need to bring your personality and your whole self to work, I think where trust can break down is on a personal level sometimes, you know, or a professional level, actually. Now that I say that, it can be one or either. And I think trust can also break down when values are misaligned, you know, when suspicion comes in.
Oh, very good.
Yeah. And that's why I think talking about inside out, why it has to come from the inside out, because that is work, right? There's a lot of people working together in an organisation. Yeah. Nobody's going to be the same. Everyone is different. So you need to decide for yourself, you know, who are you trusting, who are you not trusting? But more importantly, you need to say to yourself, am I trustworthy? Am I consistent? Am I delivering? Am I reliable? And to your last point, do I have credit in the bank that when I do let someone down, because we're human, that they go,
going to forgive you for that one. You
because she's mostly reliable, right?
Yeah. You've already set the tone.
And not lying. I mean, that's a big one for me, not lying. Yeah.
I know. Well, that's amazing.
Yeah.
So shall we sum up?
Sum up.
I
What
think
have we
we
got? You
added
sum
in
up.
a
You're really
couple
good
more.
at summing up.
Yeah, I hope I get it right. So I think the first two are the very personal things. To really instill trust in others, you do need to have some confidence. Talking confidently, that will give people the impression she's on it. He or she, they're on it. They're on their game. They know what they're talking about. I can trust their judgment. The second thing that supports that is the expertise, because you have the knowledge. You really linked it to knowledge, and it could possibly be also skills.
Yes.
You know, if you're an analytical person and you've done these financial,
it can even be resources.
Whatever, absolutely. So that's the second one. The third one is the consistency, which links to reliability, and that people can predict that you will deliver. The predictability, as that Morton Deutsch had coined the phrase. And then, of course, the fourth one is this integrity. So do what you say you would do and deliver on what you promise to do. And it's quite as simple as that. I think underpinned by a couple of other things, but those four would definitely help individuals to cultivate a level of trust with whoever they're working with in the organisation and the manager.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So that's a bit about trust. I hope you found that interesting. We'll drop some information below around...
with the links to these readings, etc.
And what are we going to talk about in our next Inside Out conversation?
I think we've mentioned about authenticity and bringing yourself to work. Bringing your own self.
How can you bring yourself to work? Lovely. Thank you, Stella.
Thank you.
As always, I love our conversations.
Thank you.
See you.